Kephrii, one of the most famous or infamous Overwatch content creators in the scene. Once, Kephrii was pulling around 1 million views comfortably in 2020, and likely a lot more in the last few years when Overwatch was more popular, but now, whilst Kephrii's Twitch has been looking solid, Kephrii on YouTube is struggling to pull views similar to his contemporaries like Super or Frogger, struggling to pull just even 200,000 views a month, meaning his view count has declined by over 80% in just 2 years. Not to mention, he certainly has a polarizing reputation. So, what's made Kephrii so infamous, and more importantly, does he even deserve the reputation that he has in the Overwatch community? Kephrii's Overwatch journey began in June 2016, where he'd start uploading clip highlights of him popping off in scrims, each of which have a couple thousand views, but he really started to build a name for himself when he started crushing pros on ladder, easily garnering 6-digit view counts. He was also playing for Team Liquid at the time, who were getting some respectable results. As a result, it wouldn't take very long for Kephrii to pop off, actually managing to go against a hacker who named his account after Kephrii in early 2017 and managing to win that game, quickly becoming his most viewed YouTube video on his channel. Fast forward a few months to October 2017 and Kephriicon would be announced. Whilst in hindsight, some may make fun of Kephrii for hosting his own event in light of gaming events such as Insomnia or VidCon, the event was a success at the time. People at the event looked more than satisfied to be able to play their favourite FPS at the time, Overwatch, whilst also getting to meet one of their favourite streamers in real life. And the public seemed to agree, with one Reddit comment saying, "Besides the memes, it's really nice to see him build his community by interacting with his fanbase. Really smart move, really appreciated. Pretty sure those guys had a great time." However, things wouldn't be all in the uprise for Kephrii in 2017. Just a month prior, in September 2017, Kephrii was in hot water for leaked DMs between him and Babybay way back in December 2016, stating how Kephrii thought Surefour and Taimu might have been cheaters. The screenshots between Kephrii and Babybay were deleted on Pastebin, but fortunately, a Redditor copied and pasted it onto a Reddit post with the infamous copypasta of, "I've been in the FPS world for 15 years. I've been to LANs, I've been at the top, I've played on over 200 milligrams of Adderall." I'll show an excerpt from Kephrii's interview with Jane as well.
So it was actually like 8 months after the fact that you had a private discussion that these logs became public, and then it made it look like you were publicly accusing pros of cheaters or being cheaters.
Yeah. What happens next is not the players addressing the clips. Instead, it's Taimu creating a copy pasta making fun of me for 200 milligrams of Adderall. It was an instant deflection to destroy my character and make fun of me. And then that's all that stuck. It actually just got swept under the rug and deleted. And people just instead said that I Hackusate everyone better than me, and it became a 200 milligram meme.
Things would only seem to get much worse, with screenshots of Kephrii flirting and sexting with other girls being leaked in November 2017. As you might have expected, the Overwatch community ridiculed some of the messages Kephrii sent, and whilst the messages are no longer available, the archive for them still are. People like Taimu even decided to make fun of Kephrii in a Discord call, warning to headphone users for the following clip.
"I would love to make you finish. The thought of your body trembling and whimpering as you moan and come is absolutely sexy! Woo! Let's go, Kephrii! Let's go! Woo!"
Are you done?
The mockery continued onto Reddit and Twitter, with many such as Alicus making puns about Kephrii's career going from 200 to 8. This was referencing the 200mg Adderall meme, and Kephrii's self-proclaimed 8-incher in the leaked DMs. However, whilst the public were laughing and ridiculing Kephrii, he was certainly down mentally. He had posted and now deleted Twitlonger, and he also spoke about mental health issues at the time in his interview with Jane.
Alright, there was a good 2 weeks, man, where I remember sitting in bed and I genuinely wanted to just fucking die. I really did. There was no escaping any of it. There was no escape. Genuinely, I could walk out of my house and everyone knew, because it's not that they knew all the bad shit. It was that all of these people in my local town knew all the good shit. They were so proud of me, and they loved that somebody from my little town made it big in any capacity.
Fortunately for Kephrii, the drama did begin to settle, and he continued doing what he did best, making content and streaming. His YouTube kept going on a consistent pace with nice, solid growth and respectable view counts for the state Overwatch was in. However, it just seems that the fall of each year would be where Kephrii gets himself into drama, as on September the 29th, 2018, Kephrii had tagged the new Overwatch League team, Washington Justice, asking if he could be involved in any way, as well as if he'd be eligible for a tryout. This sparked some backlash in the community, with many taking the perspective that Kephrii was trying to cheat his way into the Overwatch League by not going through the path to pro and not by entering Overwatch Contenders. Even a post blew up on the competitive Overwatch subreddit showing Xqc's reaction to this, Whilst I don't have the clip, it must have been quite negative considering the top comment had mentioned XQC's struggle as an aspiring streamer and pro player. Kephrii later clarified the situation in his interview with Jane, stating how,
everything I said in here is worded very particularly. First sentence, how can I be involved with this team? Whether it's just doing viewing parties, whether it's being a streamer, whether it's being a local representative, just putting together like activities or boot camps, how can I be involved with this team in any capacity? This is the point of the first sentence. Now, I'm not going to insult some people here, but reading comprehension wasn't a strong suit. And they thought that I was saying that I deserved it over other people, or that I was trying to take a shortcut to Overwatch League and that I had to go through Contenders.
Kephrii eventually joined a Korean Contenders team at the back end of 2018 called Global Esports, with Jane analysing one of his Widow games on Dorado, and Kephrii then analysing Jane's analysis in some Inception type beats. This is also where Kephrii angles started to become a bit more popular, as even in pro games, Kephrii was known for taking these obscure angles with limited sightlines that nobody would even look at.
Kephrii has this kind of tendency to put himself in locations and angles where he has really, really very, very tiny sightlines, little itty bitty gaps, and then he goes on his kind of like reactions, his flicking accuracy and flicking speed in order to like catch people.
Through the archway, this is where it's difficult for difficult, but
Did you see the Lucio? Like, it's shots like this that Kephrii makes.
To go even further, here's Boga giving another example of Kephrii angles when it became more of a meme.
This man spends his entire day looking for new ways to abuse the map geometry to be able to click headshots in ridiculous angles.
Moving on from that though, Kephrii's professional Contenders career wouldn't last very long. His team lost in a 5-map series against Nova Esports at the start of 2019, and that was basically it for his pro career. Likewise to 2018, 2019 was a pretty quiet year for the most of it. Kephrii was experimenting with Apex Legends at the dawn of 2019, and that's not very surprising considering its hype at the time, but unfortunately for Kephrii, it didn't really transfer to his channel with the views steadily dropping. He still did make Overwatch content though, but even when he made it, the viewership wasn't as high as the year prior. As we head once again into the fall of 2019, the status of events in Kephrii's personal life would finally be revealed as he and his wife part ways, shown in a tweet on the 13th of September 2019. Kephrii gained a ton of support and sympathy from the Overwatch community, perhaps helping to raise his reputation in the public sphere. Fast forward to the 11th of July 2020, and you'd have streamers like Elmo making fun of Kephrii's divorce on stream.
The letter of the day is F because you should be faithful to your wife.
Oh no, dude.
La 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 la. Kephrii's a cheater.
Elmo was eventually suspended for this, with most people tending to side with Kephrii, as indicated by the public support on Twitter, and if you're wondering where Elmo is now, it's kind of complicated. But if you guys do want me to quickly cover this in a separate video, do let me know down below. Anyways, despite the support for Kephrii and his ex-wife Devon at the time, if you've already checked the timestamps by now, you now know that we're in arguably Kephrii's most controversial era, the Hackusations. Now Kephrii did make Hackusations before this point in time, most notably Hackusating a 14-year-old at the time by the name of Zerg, which Kephrii already addressed in his interview with Jane, stating how it was a fault on his end, though he mentioned how he obviously couldn't know that the accusee was 14 years old. But from late 2019 to mid 2020 is where we get the highest density of accusations and where Kephrii's reputation starts to take a serious hit. Whether it's deserved or not is up for debate. The first notable accusation was against Hydron on the 15th of November 2019. For those who don't know, Hydron is a pro player that now plays in the Overwatch League for the Florida Mayhem and is one of the most underrated Sojourn players in my eyes. As we know of course, Hydron does not hack. Kephrii had claimed that Hydron hooks, aims at me through a wall, the hook momentum causes his crosshair to move above me, he then readjusts it down onto me, the scope only comes out of the weapon when you begin the scoping process, he has no vision of me. Most people didn't buy Kephrii's explanation, and even Spylo, who often features in some of my videos, and had coached Hydron prior to this, and is also in the Overwatch League, came to Hydron's defense. The second accusation was against Gator, another professional player currently in the Overwatch League, who at the time had been most known for his involvement in developing GOATs. Gator had shot Sombra out of invisibility as Widowmaker at the start of a game, with, as Kephrii says, no visual or audio cue. So while some still ridiculed Kephrii for this, some also took Kephrii's side and found this accusation to be more reasonable. The third accusation was against Birdwing, who was playing for the Gladiators at the time. On January the 14th, 2020, Birdwing tweeted at Kephrii as to why he reported him, stating that his aim was weird as he changed sense and it was his first game on. It's important to note that Kephrii likely didn't know it was Birdring, as you can see Kephrii reporting an alt account, but this goes to show that Kephrii's reliability in identifying hackers is not always reliable. The fourth accusation was against aimbots, which blew up way more than any other accusation, with Kephrii gaining over 300,000 views on YouTube for it. Whilst the video is 32 minutes, the core crux of it comes down to the entire situation being avoidable if aimbots just chose to respond to Kephrii, which he could have easily done, and as a result, most had taken Kephrii's side. Aimbots actually made a video on the entire Kephrii game, but Kephrii mentions in his video that aimbots chose to be very one-sided. As such, Kephrii had copyright claimed the initial video, with some arguing he went too far. Despite this, Kephrii stated that he didn't intentionally abuse the copyright system at all because he doesn't know much about YouTube, but luckily for the viewers, I do. And whilst I don't want to go on a tangent, all you need to do is look as far as Quantum TV and you'll see how easy it is to abuse copyright claims to take down valid critique. Regardless, most seem to be on Kephrii's side because people saw that aimbots could have prevented this drama from occurring, but decided not to, presumably for views. Moving on to July of 2020, and you better strap yourself in because there's going to be a lot of accusations here. On July 22nd, peak 4-5 player Ulids claimed that he had his account banned after Kephrii reported him. The reason for this was that there were no additional games played after Kephrii had reported him, since as soon as he woke up, the account got banned. From what I can see, Kephrii made no response to this. Just a day later, an arguably more egregious accusation would arise where Kephrii reported Twitter user Cred for gameplay sabotage despite claiming to have multiple gold medals and Kephrii having no damage medal, in which Callum described as an unwinnable game. It was then later revealed that Kephrii swapped scenes on a stream and had actually reported Callum for cheating based off a small microflick, which you're seeing in the background now. Moving to July 30th, 2020, and a whole bunch more accusations would hit the Overwatch community. Kephrii had accusated Gargoyle, who was a tank player for the Florida Mayhem.
You don't feel the urgency or any of the anything that comes with it.
Dicko Mode, or Yeah, who was the general manager at the Florida Mayhem.
His fear isn't extended up here either. That makes me uncomfortable. Concept of clearing the 3 high grounds, all of it went out the window.
And had alluded to 4.4k hitscan player did Tragedy of not being legit. But we're not done there. Just a week later would 2 more accusations pop up, and they're arguably some of his worst. Apparently, on August 6th or thereabouts, Kephrii had accusated the entire university team of Oklahoma, and 2 days later, a clip would go viral on the Overwatch TMZ subreddit of Kephrii accusating a Masters player who really didn't seem like they were doing much.
Dude, what are you, bro?
Dead right now.
That Ash is weird, dude. Fuck that guy, bro. Like, the dude's not missing a single fucking shot. Like, what is that?
The reason why these accusations hurt Kephrii's reputation so much is that even if Kephrii was in the right, other accusations, like the one of the Masters player, made Kephrii come across like a really salty rank player. And considering that Kephrii was playing poorly and that Masters player wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary, it would only help to further consolidate Kephrii as the ultimate accuser of the Overwatch community. Kephrii also received flack for not only the accusation itself, but how he talked and acted to his teammates, who likely saw Kephrii as just being a salty player. A perfect example of this would be with the accusation in May of 2021 to a player called Liar, now renamed to Raya, where in the eyes of most, there was no issue with Kephrii reporting the player if he thought he was cheating, but the additional comments afterwards were inappropriate to the issue at hand. Liar actually did end up getting banned, as shown by Backsubbuzz tweets, but apparently it was a false positive, as this Reddit post explains, but apparently it wasn't a false positive. It's kind of a long convoluted subplot at this point, so I'll leave it here. Speaking of false bans, this was something Kephrii also got, and still gets, quite a bit of flack for, though he did attempt to dispel this through his pinned tweet, supposedly showing how the report system actually works by asking Tim Ford. Still, some refuse to believe Ford's response to this day, whether that be off of what happened to Ulid or Callum, or whether that be from people like Carter, believing that the false positive rate for cheating was simply too high and that their systems were outdated and not very helpful. It's also important to note that at this time in mid-2020 with all the accusations, Kephrii also tried his hand at Valorant, and I don't really need to say much more than what the view count already shows. Anyways, after 2020 and 2021, things stayed relatively quiet. Some notable pieces were Kephrii's video on weight loss that he released in August 2020 amidst the whole accusation drama, which was positively received, alongside some details on Kephrii fumbling a 380 grand investment. However, Kephrii would once again get himself into more hot water in 2022. In April 17th of this year, a clip of Kephrii almost saying the F-slur would garner some attention.
I got rage hacked and stream sniped by the usual weekend facts.
Whoa!
I had a sneeze, man.
As you saw, Kephrii tried to pass it off as a sneeze, which you yourself can decide to believe. He also stated on Twitter that he was trying to say facts, which again, you yourself can believe. Most people didn't though, with a reply ratioing Kephrii with a thumbnail captioned, "Kephrii, God of homophobic slurs." Some more tenuous drama would arise from Kephrii stating that as soon as the Metro's teleporter was turned into an ability, he started abusing it to get back to point quicker. Some people, especially on Reddit, interpreted this as Kephrii bragging and thinking he popularized the use of TPs from spawn. In a similar vein, on the same subreddit, Kephrii had also received flack for making a tweet in June of this year stating how he'd pay hackers to show off their hacks in a custom game. And fast forward to now, and Kephrii is still active in the community. He's still going strong, especially on Twitch with over 600,000 followers, comfortably pulling in a total accumulated amount of 5-digit viewers per stream, and despite his YouTube slowing down in terms of analytics, his Twitch seems unaffected across the years, if not better. Whether you like Kephrii or not, you cannot deny that he's risen above it all, and he's shown to outlast his contemporaries, and certainly his detractors, through his own mental and in some cases, physical fortitude. Will he likely accuse more pro players, and will he do it in a manner that's arguably disrespectful? It would be reasonable to think so, but does it really matter? Well, for Kephrii at least, the answer is no. And that's how Kephrii has become the name in the Overwatch community that he is today. So that's the video. I spent way too much time researching and scripting and structuring this video, so if you enjoyed, please be sure to like and even share this video around because it really does help. All sources will be in the description